I wanted to jump on here real quick. So, a lot of people are talking about the quote unquote takeover that happened in Venezuela, where we captured Nicolás Maduro. And I want to talk about some of the key points that will essentially not really affect you. Everybody's talking about the oil. And although that's a huge component in this whole factor, there's some key points that I also want to touch base on that's a little bit political. I don't like to go too political on this channel, but I do want to mention some political aspects because I think it's very important that you are aware as I'm making these videos. When it comes to the Venezuela oil and all of the oil that they sit on, and back in the day, they used to process a lot of oil and they used to be a big key component to be able to distribute oil to other countries. And since that, I believe in 1998, it was under the Chavez regime that a lot of that changed because he went in there, made a lot of changes, and they are no longer a big fish in that sea. Now, right now, China is probably their number one buyer, to where China supplies a huge, like they're a huge profit play for Venezuela. Venez- like Venezuela, if it wasn't for China, they probably wouldn't make money. I believe China lent them about $90 billion too at some point, and Venezuela backed it up with their oil. Now, all this media, everybody's talking about we went in there because we want their oil, and although there's some truth to that, there's some other key factors that we have to take a look at that I want to get into. But first, what will happen when we go in there and we start taking over all their oil reserves and start putting a lot of money into it? Well, first and foremost, we would need to put in billions of dollars in order to bring all that up. Venezuela has crude oil, which is hard to refine and process, which we're here in the United States, we're very good at. We have the machinery for it. It is something that we prefer to do. Like we're good at it. It's not hard. But to go in there and have companies spend a lot of money, billions of dollars, it will take a lot of time. It will take many, many years and billions of dollars for that to happen. And although that's possible, you will not see an effect of that here in the United States for a very long time. The effect of what's going on, it's almost non-existent. It's not going to have a huge impact to your wallet. Not much is going to happen to the gas prices at the pump. You won't see much of a change, at least for a very long time. Now, something that you have to also take a look at that will affect your wallet if this didn't happen is that, again, China is a huge power play in Venezuela. Like, if China were to send their military weaponry into Venezuela, that's way too close for the United States. Like, if I was the president of the United States, I'd be extremely worried, especially if I was making quote unquote enemies with other countries, because I wanted to put America first. I wanted to go back to how powerful America was. And in doing so, you make a lot of enemies. Venezuela, the president, Nicolás Maduro, is not a fan of Donald Trump. The president of China, they're quote unquote friends, but still there's a lot of tension there. So with a lot of tensions rising in China and in Russia, you have to think about plays like what would happen if we went to war. China would put a lot of pressure to be able to move their military long range weaponry, their missiles into Venezuela, which would be way too close to the United States. Now, not a lot of people are talking about that. Now, what would happen if that were to happen? It would be a huge national threat to our security. When we went in there and quote unquote captured Nicolás Maduro, you have to think about some of the points. Like, he was indicted. Like, there was a reason for us to go in there and arrest him. We didn't kidnap him. We didn't just take him. Like, there's a reason. There's paper. And I want you to do a little bit of research and go into it and figure out what those charges are. And you have to think about some of the key factors, like him exporting drugs and being part of this criminal this criminal regime. So I think that gave the United States a big push to be able to go in there and take some type of control to put us in a position to where China will not have the ability to put their weaponry inside of Venezuela. And I think at the end of the day, that's super important because again, that's a risk to our security. You have to think about some of the other factors. Again, a big portion of it would be to go in there and now start taking control, which is what a lot of what the media is telling you. They're not telling you these other big factors. They're just telling you what you want to hear as far as us taking over Venezuela because of their oil. Now, obviously, now that we're quote unquote managing it, would be dumb. It would be dumb for us not to try and have some type of benefit to that. And I guess you can say that the opposite. It would be dumb for us to try and go in there and take control because again, that's not part of the United States. That's not part of our country. So I see both sides of it, and the way we go about it is very detrimental. It's going to be very, very important on how we operate within our next steps because we can create a lot of enemies or we can make a lot of people happy. Right now, there's a lot of people happy inside of Venezuela. And I see a lot of people in the United States that aren't so happy about it. And again, it's because the way that we spend certain things. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a huge political play into this whole thing. So there's certain things that I can be wrong when it comes to that, which is why I don't like to talk about it much. But one thing I do know is that if we start to take over and we start to take control over the oil, it's going to take many, many years for us to start to see an impact here at our pumps. And it's going to take billions of dollars for us, and billions of investments from other countries like Chevron and all these oil companies for that to happen. In many years, I can see that being beneficial. But right now, I don't think you should be too excited about it because you won't see a huge direct impact. Now, I'm super, super curious to know your thoughts. Please comment down below, like this video, subscribe. It helps this channel out a lot. If you want me to stay away from little tiny politics, like why I think we did this, why I think China would have put some of their weaponry inside of Venezuela and how that kind of ties into what's going on here, then just let me know. I'm super curious to know what your standpoint is on all this. And until next time, love you guys all. Peace.